It is time for Mid Ohio, the Mid Ohio Sporscar Course, a absolute legendary track. Great fun, really all. Very challenging track, very difficult to really get that line just perfectly. And actually really a home for almost any kind of car you want to race on it, which is really nice. We're here with GT3s. This is Zero Racing Season 4 Round 2. And this is the first of the 2 weekday races we had. Field is a little smaller than it was last round. We're down to 14 cars with Tom Waz absent from the grid. Also Martin Lauer missing his second in a row due to scheduling conflicts. Hopefully we'll see him in round 3 when we make our way to Indianapolis. And he will be able to join the grid then. I know John Slow Racing, his team, is definitely hoping that's the case because they're in a bit of a struggle without him. So let's walk the grid. Jason Monds, for the second race in a row, is on the pole position. But RaceRoom Bridge did not go his way. He was not even on the podium in either race despite being the fastest in qualifying. So we'll see if he can make something better of it this time. Joining him on the front row is Alessio De Bonis of Spalding RT. Monds, by the way, representing Zagato Piston. Spalding RT's Alessio De Bonis is second. Third on the grid is Genghiz Khan, championship leader for Golden Bolt Racing. Fourth on the grid is the Zagato Piston entry of Mike Mark. Fifth on the grid is Wesley Stokes for Team Shashma, leaders in the team championship. Alongside him is his teammate Rick Martel in 6th place. 7th place is the independent BMW M6 of Alex Hayes. P8 is Mike Magasevic, top academy driver, both leading the overall standings and top qualifier for this race for Golden Bolt Racing. He is joined by his teammate Dean Reimers on row 5 as he qualifies 9th. 10th on the grid is going to be Dule Markovic in the 3rd Zagato Piston entry. 11th on the grid is Spalding RT's Mark Klapzul. 12th on the grid is the independent McLaren 650S of Alan Angel. Then it's David Collins in the John Slow Racing entry, the lone John Slow Racing entry on the field today. And look out for this car, Quintus Gillespie. The car had to break Parc Ferme to make the grid, so he was relegated to the back, but he was a top 8 qualifier in the actuals competition. Look for him to do some things from the back. So let's kick this off. And we are away. Monds appears to have gotten a good start and looks to retain the lead. The man who didn't get off the line well there is the front row competitor Alessio De Bonis as Genghiz Khan moves into 2nd place. Looks like De Bonis will hold 3rd after a challenge from Wesley Stokes, or maybe not. Mike Mark is also coming up and in there. And as they head around, it is going to be Stokes who takes 3rd. De Bonis slipping all the way back to 4th from his front row start. Mike Mark, Rick Martel, Dule Markovic with a fantastic start is up to, I believe that's 7th place, 8th place for Magasevic, 9th for Hayes, 10th for Klapzul, 11th off from the back row of the grid for Quintus Gillespie, 12th for Reimers, 13th for Collins, and Alan Angel has had a moment. He is at the back in the McLaren 650. We head through the China Beach complex turns 4 and 5 and then into the S's here at Mid Ohio. Monds still has the lead from Khan and Stokes. De Bonis, Mark, Martel. Alex Hayes is up to 7th place. He's disposed of Mike Magasevic, and looks like Dule Markovic maybe had a moment there. He's coming back on there. Mark Klapzul is bringing up the back of the points being positions with Gillespie, Collins, Markovic, Angel, and Dean Reimers has had a problem. He has slipped to the back of the pack. These Z4s absolutely love Mid Ohio. It's got almost the perfect mix of speed and maneuverability to handle this kind of course, although it does suffer a little bit on the long straightaways against the M6 driven by Alex Hayes, so we'll see if that comes into play. Quintus Gillespie looking for a move here on Mark Klapzul. He's up the inside of him and looking for 9th place. He is through after starting at the back of the grid. It's Collins, Angel, Reimers, Markovic has slipped to the back of the pack after a really good start by him. It's been a pretty disappointing run so far. See if Clap Zul can come back at Gillespie here. Mike Magasevic appears to have gone off. He rejoins in 10th place under pressure from Dave Collins. So Gillespie progressing through the grid, up 6 spots from 14th on the grid to 8th place already. Now this is the part where it should slow down for him though. This is around where he qualified. This is where he was theoretically going to run. Can he continue his run up through the field and take a really good position here, or is this really as high as he can climb? Klabzul having a pretty good race in 9th place. Mike Magasevic has dropped back to 10th. Dave Collins is in 11th, doing a pretty good job himself, up 2 spots. Alan Hell is in 12th, where he qualified. Then it's Dule Markovic and Dean Reimers, who've both had some offs and are at the back of the pack. Jason Monds still leading the way, looking for his first win of the season. It would be a big deal for him, of course. At this time last year, he was already a championship favorite. This season, a little bit mired at the further back, to be honest. Championship leader is the man in 2nd place, Genghiz Khan. He would retain that as things are. Wesley Stokes is in 3rd. 4th is Alessio De Bonis. 5th place for Mike Mark. 6th place for Martel. Looks like Alex Hayes in the top independent run, BMW M6, is gaining a little bit on Martel. Maybe a showdown here for 6th place in a bit. Quintus Gillespie, as we said, in 8th place. Klabzul and Magasevic rounding off the points. Dave Collins, Alan Anhel, Dule Markovic, and Dean Reimers rounding off the field. This would also be the first win for the Zagato Piston team, which looked very dominant at RaceRoom Bridge. Locked out the front row for the weekday race, but didn't really show as much in the race as they did. Mike Mark did take a podium for the team in race 2, and they were completely absent from the weekend round, as Dule Markovic and Adam Situ missed out. Rumors is Adam Situ may have been cut from the team. We will see how that progresses. Alan Anhel has dropped down behind Dule Markovic and Dean Reimers, so he's now 14th. That's 12th for Markovic and 13th for Reimers now. Mark Klapzul pulling off the road. Mistake or problem? Looks like this may be a problem for Mark Klapzul. Yeah, so we have our first retirement as Mark Klapzul's terrible luck continues. Meantime, Dule Markovic has made a mistake and has fallen back to 13th place. And what is now dead last on a 13-car grid. We're on lap 5 here. Jason Monds still leading the way from Genghiz Khan, Wesley Stokes, Alessio De Bonis, and Mike Mark after a pretty hectic start. Things have calmed down in the top 8, but Rick Martel, who's run in 6th place this whole time, is under some serious pressure from the independent BMW entry of Alex Hayes. That M6 is faster in a straightaway than a Z4. However, it suffers a little bit in the low-speed corners. We'll see if he can make this work. This would be the bread and butter right here, the long straightaway here and at the start-finish, as well as Thunder Valley. Martel and Hayes entering into the China Beach Complex, turns 4 and 5. That was turn 4 there, there's turn 5. And now they're heading into the S's. Now the S's is where the Z4 should be able to make a bit of an escape. This is a highly handling-based section. It's not where the M6 has the advantage. But he will come Thunder Valley. We'll see if he can put the pressure on Martel again. Alex Hayes doing a great job of sticking with the Team Shashma entry of Rick Martel here, putting the pressure on as they head into the carousel. and then finish off with turn 13 right before the start-finish straight. Now, like I said, the start-finish straight, this is where the M6 is going to have the advantage over anything in the field. It's got more grunt, it's got more ability in the high-speed corners. But no move as of yet. Dean Reimers has climbed up into last points paying position, having passed Dave Collins. And, yeah, let's see, is that a recent pass? Looks like that's not a recent pass, so we're not going to go look for it. Apologies to both Mr. Collins and Reimers, but we have missed that pass for a pretty key spot. That's second in the Academy Cup standings right now, rankings for this race, and also a point in the overall championship. And a reverse grid pole for race 2, if things hold as they are. Jason Monds starting to stretch that lead out in front from Genghiz Khan, who's stretching away from Wesley Stokes, who's stretching away from Alessio De Bonis. Mike Marks more or less stationary in 5th place there. He's not really been able to keep up with the top 4. The interest is probably right here, this Martel versus Hayes battle for 6th place. Which, as they're fighting, I think Quintus Gillespie is closing the gap a little bit. But not too much. He's not involved in this fight as of yet. See him back there in the blue and white car. Mark Labzul's retirement, a pretty big deal for Spalding RT, one of the main contenders for the championship in the Teams Cup. They had all 3 of their cars in the points, and have now lost that ability. Also with the 3 cars in the points now is Team Golden Bolt, although it's 9th and 10th for Mike Magasevic and Dean Reimers to go with 2nd place Genghiz Khan. Top 5 are pretty spread out. Looks like we might have a move here coming into China Beach. Alex Hayes has got the inside line. Can he hold it? No, he's going to have to brake a little bit sooner. But they're going to go side by side into the second part of China Beach. Can Hayes make the move here? This is not where the M6 should be able to... Oh, when he tweaks it out a little bit, getting out on the marble. Like I said, this is not actually where the M6 should have the advantage over the Z4. So Rick Martel needs to make this section here, the S's, his friend heading into Thunder Valley. Otherwise, the pressure could be on in Thunder Valley. And the pressure is on in Thunder Valley because Alex Hayes is all over the back of the 6th place car of Rick Martel, and getting closer in the background is Quintus Gillespie. Sent to the back because of Parc Ferme regulations. Now in 8th place and ganging on this battle for 6th. Dean Reimers still has Dave Collins for company in the battle for reverse grid pole. Dule Markovic has worked his way out of last place by the looks of it. We'll have a look at that. We haven't really done any rewinding to find some stuff. His battle with the McLaren 650 of Alan Angel. Angel is very, very twitchy. I think we may have just had it off here at some point is where the pass happened. As Angel's 650S is not looking the most comfortable. This, of course, the disadvantage of being the independent entries is they have an access to a wider variety of cars. Looks like this pass happened some time ago, actually. We'll just roll forward with it. But the disadvantage of being the independent entry, of course, is there's no data sharing with any of the other drivers, at least not mandated data sharing. And you may also, in many cases, be the only guy running that car, as is the case for Alex Hayes, Alan Angel, and Matthew Wheeler with the BMW M6, the McLaren 650S, and the Chevrolet Corvette, making they're not even really anyone to share data with. Whereas in the teams battle, you have a 3 to 4 car unit processing, working on setup together and developing the best way to get around the track. We were talking about how nice it was for Zagato would have been for Spalding RT to have all 3 cars in the points, but I believe the team to beat right now in this race is Zagato Piston, currently running in first with Jason Monds and fifth with Mike Mark, although Dule Markovic is not in the points, down in 12th place. Although still a pretty important run for the Academy Cup, he's running in 4th place in the Academy Cup this race. Gillespie is now right up on the tail of Alex Hayes. He's the fastest of these three, it would appear, and he'll be looking for an opening. Either that or just the battle between Hayes and Martel has, made them take a little bit more out of their tires, a little bit more of a fight, whereas Gillespie, while he's made up a lot of positions, has not had to work particularly hard for them. It's an 11-lap race, and we are on lap 7. Martel having a little bit of a problem heading into the carousel. Allows a bit of an overlap with Hayes, but Hayes can't hold the outside line and is opening up the inside for Gillespie, but it's going to turn into the inside on turn 13. Has he held it? No! Quintus Gillespie is through and into 7th place ahead of Alex Hayes. Reimers and Dave Collins also still having a pretty good fight there for the last points-paying position and reverse grid pole. Could just be my imagination, but I think Genghiz Khan may be reeling in Jason Monds, but I don't know if it's at a fast enough rate to pick up the win. I mean, you've only got 3 laps to go here, so that might be a bit much. Wesley Stokes still 3rd place. Alessio De Bonis, I think, is reeling him in a little bit as well. Mike Mark still 5th. This fantastic battle for 6th place going on right now. Rick Martel holding it right now, but as we head into the S's, Gillespie is all over the back of him, and Alex Hayes is all over the back of Quintus Gillespie in the Spalding RT car. Oh, Gillespie gets very out of shape heading into Thunder Valley, and that's going to knock him off the back of this fight. That's also going to do his tires no favors. Mid Ohio is a pretty high tire wear circuit, so any mistake is that much worse when you know that your tires are going to be in trouble at the end of the race anyways. They appear actually maybe to be catching up a little bit to Mike Mark, who might be just in tire conservation mode at this point and taking it easy. Dave Collins is losing the back of the fight for 10th place by the looks of it. It looks like Reimers has got just a little bit more left in the car than Collins, despite his early problems. You'd think Reimers' tires are not exactly in the greatest of shape. We know Dave Collins has historically been a bit of a hard guy on his tires as well. So this door might be open for Dule Markovic to really make a move. Currently in 12th place, but that could become 10th pretty quickly. As I say this, he goes out on the grass and collects all kinds of stuff into his tires. Jason Monds heads into Thunder Valley for the second to last time. He'll begin the last lap when he gets to start-finish straight. Rick Martel has got a little bit of breathing room back to Alex Hayes now. Quintus Gillespie's kind of eliminated himself from this fight. And the last lap begins here. Jason Monds leading the way for Zagato Piston Racing. Second is the championship leader Genghiz Khan coming into the day. He will retain the championship lead with the 2nd place if things stay as they are. 3rd place, Wesley Stokes, Team Shashma, looking for his 2nd podium of the season. He was a race winner at Bridge. Followed by Alessio De Bonis in 4th place. 5th place for Mike Mark, the 2nd Zagato Piston car. De Bonis is the lead car for Spalding RT. Rick Martel, Team Shashma, still holding off the independent entry of Alex Hayes and the Spalding RT car of Quintus Gillespie. The points are rounded off by Academy drivers, Golden Bolt Racing's Mike Magasevic and Dean Reimers, although coming back into this now is the John Snow racing car of Dave Collins. Dule Markovic and Zagato Piston for Zagato Piston is in 12th and could still be in this, just because we know that Collins and Reimers have struggled at the end of races before. Alan Angel rounding out the 13-car field. Jason Monds heads into the carousel for the last time. This will be to take the victory, his first of the season for Zagato Piston Racing. He comes across the line to take the checkered flag as a winner. Third straight podium to open up the season for Genghiz Khan, though. Championship leader Wesley Stokes also makes his second appearance on the podium. Fourth place is going to go to Alessio De Bonis. Looked like he dropped off the back of Stokes at the end. Mike Mark in the second Zagato Piston entry is going to take home fifth place. Sixth place at the line. Oh, Alex Hayes got around Rick Martel. We're going back and looking at this. We've been talking about this battle in detail. The battle of the M6 versus the Z4. The Canadian driver Martel versus the American Alex Hayes. The independent versus the team. We need to see what in the end made the difference. Quentin Gillespie in close approximation still for Spalding RT. So it looks like a better run into the China Beach section. Hayes sticks his nose up the inside, gets the job done. Martel tries to come back at him in the second part of the turn, but cannot do it. A little bit of a wiggle there for Hayes, but he keeps car control, and the battle for the sixth place continues to favor him as they head into the S's. As we've said, the S's are his weakest point, but he seems to be handling them quite well. Rick Martel has not been taking advantage of the Z4's superior grip in that section. Heading through Thunder Valley and into the carousel, Alex Hayes leading the way to sixth place. A massive move from the independent racer. He holds it through the carousel and into turn 13 we go. And it will be Alex Hayes coming across the line in sixth place ahead of Rick Martel. Quentin Gillespie from last to eighth place. Pretty solid run for him despite the qualifying problems. Mike Magasevic is going to take home ninth and top academy spot. Then it's Dean Reimers in 10th as Dule Markovic, who had passed Dave Collins. Looks like Dave Collins had an off of some nature in Thunder Valley. He had been 11th place, and this is a big deal as it, while it doesn't bear championship points, it does represent something for the Academy Drivers' Cup. He goes off, Dule Markovic goes through, and it looked like, we kept saying Markovic might be the fastest car in the end, but he also goes off in Thunder Valley. Still, he will stand on the Academy Drivers' Cup's podium with Mike Magasevic and with Dean Reimers as he brings it home in 11th place ahead of Dave Collins and Alan Angel. That's race 1 from Mid Ohio. We'll be heading into race 2. On the pole will be Dean Reimers as he gets reverse grid pole for the second time this season. We'll see if it goes better than it did in Bridge, where he slipped all the way out of the top 10 despite starting on pole. So we'll see you next time.